Hi there, it's Miss Molly. This lesson is called Shape Mix Up. And this is a very fun lesson because we begin by using familiar materials and familiar art elements, the element of shape and color. And then we add in a surprise element. So this surprise element takes the drawing in a completely different direction. So let's begin. The materials you need for this lesson include regular water-based markers in a variety of colors. Okay, you need preferably a black permanent marker. If you don't have a black permanent marker, you can use a black colored pencil, a black crayon, or even this black marker. I will explain adaptations later. Okay, and you also need a cup of water. You do not need a lot of water, so I have this little cup and I just filled it up to about here, okay? And you need a paper towel. And the last thing you need is a piece of white paper, okay? So step one is you are going to draw on the white paper using your water-based markers. You're going to draw a variety of shapes, a variety of geometric shapes all over the paper. You can choose whatever color you want, and you can choose whatever size of shapes you want. You can choose whatever shapes you want. So I'm going to show you the one that I started. Okay, so here is my drawing with a variety of geometric shapes. Okay, however you want to arrange them, whatever size, whatever color, it's up to you. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, here's where the water comes into play. You are going to sprinkle water on top of the paper. You're going to sprinkle water on top of the shapes. So what I'm going to do is dip my hand in the cup, okay? And I'm going to make sure I'm working in a space where it's okay to get a little bit messy. Not a lot, not too much. I'm going to dip my hand in the water and I'm going to drip over the shapes. Now, I don't want my paper to be soaked. I just want to drip a little bit. Okay, and I'm trying to get over some of these marker shapes too. Okay, so if you can see, what I want you to do is just observe the drawing for a moment and see what is happening with the water. And so what I'm seeing is the water is sort of moving the color around. And in some places it's more obvious than others. And some places even the colors are mixing and blending and they're creating new shapes, okay? So once I kind of observe and see what's happening to the colors, I'm going to actually pick up my paper just a little bit, very gently. And I'm going to move it side to side. Up and down. Ooh, what's happening? What's happening to the color? What's happening to all those shapes? Colors are blending, right? There. Okay, so before I set my paper down, I'm going to take my paper towel and dry off the surface here. Okay, and then I'm going to place my paper down, and if you have still some extra water on there, you can just gently lay your paper towel on top and kind of dab some of those areas. You don't want to smear it or move it around. Okay, then we're ready to move on to step three. So here's where the black marker comes into play. If you don't have a black marker, like I said, you can use a black permanent marker, I should say. You can use either a crayon or a colored pencil or something else to outline. So what we're going to do is outline the shapes that we have, okay? And if you don't have a black permanent marker, you can let this dry and then do the next step with another drawing utensil later, okay? But the permanent marker we can use while the paper is still wet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start to outline here And some of the areas are sort of the familiar geometric shapes that I started with. And some of them are these new, mixed up amorphous type shapes. We call these organic shapes. And I'm just kind of following along as I go. Not really thinking very much, just following along the edge of the shape. And I can see too, there are these white blank areas in between, and I can outline those. That's called negative space or negative shapes. Okay? And I'm just going to go through, and this might take a little bit of time, but I'm going to go through and outline everything. Okay? So, step 4. Once you finish outlining your drawing, then what I want you to do is observe again. And you can turn it upside down, sideways. You can turn it and use your observation skills and sort of use your imagination too. And what I mean by that is look at the shapes and see, what does that remind me of? Maybe that's an eye. Maybe that's a city building scape right here. Maybe this is a face. Maybe this is an underwater creature. So take a moment to just look at your drawing, turn it in different directions, look to see if there's any parts of it that remind you of something else, and then let your imagination go from there. Okay? And what I did, I'm going to show you some other finished examples. What I did was I then went in and drew some more details, really defining what I saw in my imagination. So here I see this sort of reptile creature, and I drew more details to show that. Okay, here I drew a space station. I drew like the ladders and all the windows and the different levels of the space station. So again, this lesson incorporates familiar shapes as surprise elements, and then we get to use our imagination. So I hope you enjoy the lesson, and thanks so much.